Is pharmacy still worth it in 2023? So I've been getting this question asked a lot. Students have asked me, interns have asked me, is pharmacy still worth it in 2023? Now that I have been a pharmacist for basically 3 years, I've worked in multiple settings. This answer can be kind of tricky. Now, I'm not going to give a plain yes or no. What I'm just going to do in this video is kind of provide you with different perspectives that I've experienced and kind of go from there. Now, short answer, do I think pharmacy is still worth it? Yes. The reason why I say yes is because pharmacy is a versatile career where if you are in one area of pharmacy that you do not enjoy, that you are not happy, you can, switch into another. Now, I'm not saying that that switch is easy. There are certain things you have to do. Maybe there's certain classes you have to take, certifications that you have to do, board certifications, all these things, but just know that it is doable to be able to kind of just change lanes within the career of pharmacy overall. And so I really like that because you're not just like confined to one area, like I've done this is it, and this is what I'm in for the rest of my life. Like, no. So I do believe that because of that versatility, you are able to have more options for yourself and for your well-being. I will say that pharmacy is definitely a career that individuals are still in need of, that companies are still in need of, hospitals are still in need of. So when it comes to the idea of saturation, by God's grace, I haven't, really dealt with like not being able to have a job, not being able to work. And I think that a lot of, people are kind of staying away from pharmacy. So it's going to be like a roller coaster. It's kind of like a cycle. Back in the day, pharmacy wasn't saturated, so everybody went into it. And then now people are just like, oh no, now it's too saturated, so they're not going into it. But then it'll be that cycle again of just like, oh wait, but we need pharmacists. So it's one of those things where you guys already know how I feel on this channel about saturation. Like, if God has something for you, it's only for you. Like, don't ever let what other people have to say deter you from what God is calling you to do. The second thing that I will say is that is pharmacy still worth it in 2023? Now, it can depend. Now, one of the things that I tell every single student, every single intern, every single person that I mentor or have a conversation with about pharmacy is that you need to, before you graduate, figure out what kind of lifestyle you want. Not even what area of pharmacy you want to be in, what kind of lifestyle you want, because that will also help determine the kind of pharmacy that you go into. Now, I am very big on making sure that you have a well-balanced life, making sure that you're not somewhere that isn't healthy for you, that's not a toxic environment, that's not something that is treating you essentially like you don't matter. And unfortunately, in big companies, big institutions, and things of that sort, you can see that happen quite often. But I really want you to sit down and think and bring it before God. Ask him like, okay, what is it that you are calling me to do? And what does that look like? Because you need to figure out what your life outside of pharmacy looks like in order to figure out what your life in pharmacy would look like, okay? So if you are looking forward to like having a certain lifestyle, then I encourage you to try to find your area in pharmacy that will help to sustain that lifestyle. And, don't just go off of like the dollar signs, don't just go off of the money portion, because if you're in pharmacy, you're typically making around a certain amount. If you really want to be making like top dollar, then definitely like going into more administrative roles, more director, managerial, supervisor roles, or getting into research or big pharma, like things of that sort. But as far as lifestyle goes, you really, if you're just like, okay, I want to be able to work Monday through Friday, no weekends, work from home or something, then maybe industry is something that you want to look into, where you're able to have those hours, you're able to have that lifestyle. And now the question is, okay, how do I get into industry? And this is where, as a student, I feel like it's so important. Join the club that is focused on industry. I think it's IPHO. Do the fellowship, do all those, like, figure out, how do I get myself there? You don't want to wait till you graduate and then you're like in a job and you're unhappy and you're like, how do I even go back? Like, so that's why I say pharmacy is still worth it, but you have to be smart about your decisions that you're making very early on. And I'm assuming that if you're watching this video, it's because you are either a student or you're thinking about pharmacy. But these are some things that I really want you to think about before, diving into this career, because it's a little harder after you graduate and like start working to kind of change gears. It's not impossible, so I don't want you to think that like you can't do it. You absolutely can, but it just makes your life so much easier when you set yourself up early on. Like I said, it's not impossible whatsoever. I've seen it be done, but I just would encourage you to make your life a little easier to do your research ahead of time. Of course, pharmacy is a rewarding career financially. The only downside I will say is the student loan debt. That part is just like, but I've seen people pay off their debt in a couple of years and things of that sort. And, as crazy as I sound, I'm really just trusting God in that department, because I've stressed myself out way too much already. And I'm just trusting God in that department. And I will testify soon enough of the glory of God, His goodness and His faithfulness in that area. So, but yeah, do I think pharmacy is still worth it? Yes. Do I think that there are some things to consider in order for it to be worth it for you? Yes. So I really hope that you take this into consideration and that you really think about it, pray about it, bring it before God. On this channel, if you're just finding me from pharmacy or something, I am a woman of God, I'm a woman of faith, and I trust and believe that if God has called you to do something, that He will see you through it, He will provide you the resources and the path to get it done. So you can watch all the videos, you can watch all the things, you can read all the articles, you can listen to all the people, but at the end of the day, what is God telling you to do? And how is He directing and ordering your steps? Figure that out first. And then go from there. So you already know the deal. Go out, be kind, be caring, be loving, and as always, be His masterpiece. Bye, y'all.